So, without further ado, let's take a look. Now, we were working on the compound stroke number 1, which is based on the 25th rule. But I want to keep you moving. I want to get you through the strokes, and not keep you moving in a way that rushes the procedure or the continuity, because we don't want to move on until you have some firm understanding as to what's happening, right? And you're starting to develop, like you said. Isn't that what Carlos said in the Richard Wilson Modern Drummer article, if I recall? What did he say? He said, really, it's all really just a wrist turn and a throw, or did he say downstroke, and a rebound? He said something like what you said, right? And I said, well, that idea of the rebound is necessary but not sufficient, because the sufficient answer is that it's about the fulcrum. We don't have the kind of rebound that this technique is all about, right? Now, Richard Martinez has said that if, no matter how you hold the stick, even if you clutch it, if it bounces, there's a fulcrum somewhere, right? It's true. We're looking for a very specific fulcrum with this technique, okay? And a very specific grip, okay? But the whole thing really is based on what is very, very simple, what is a very simple 7-tiered approach, right? Or, as you just did, you narrowed it down like Carlos did. Well, there's only 3 things. You can think of it like that if you want. And so you're right. We have a regular wrist turn, because the whole thing, like Buddy Rich said, it's all in the wrist. The whole thing, and as Richard Martinez says, the whole thing is just a wrist turn. But we have what is perhaps what we would call just a regular wrist turn. Right? Just have a regular instrument. Then we have a throw. And then we have rebounds. But not much more to it than that. Right? How are we going to put all that together, though? That's what these strokes are doing. They're helping us move from one arpeggio to the next so that we can play music. Right? And that's why it's important that we keep your reading going, right? Particularly, although a lot of folks think it's kind of corny, but back in the day it was pretty hip, and it's not like a Beethoven symphonic work, but there's music there, and they're just really combining the different strokes so that you can learn how to go from one to the other. And so when we're soloing, that's what we're doing all the time, hopefully, because we're going from this to this to this to this to this, and we should be able to go from one arpeggio like all the other instruments in the orchestra. They can do it. Why can't the drummers do it? Right? We have our thing. We have like our way of playing really fast cymbal time. We have our way of playing a groove. We have a way of playing singles. And then we piecemeal them together. And so what this technique does is just taking it further. And so now with the compound stroke, if I recall, you were having some difficulty. Why don't you just go ahead and play it for me instead of getting ahead of where you are. Let's see where you are. You play twice as fast? Then play,
What's that?
play it twice as fast.
Okay.
See where your hands are. You can keep the metronome there, just double it. That's what I did, essentially. Why is it so loud? I mean, play that loud. See, it's really easy. You seem to be working a little harder than you need to be, and it's real loud. Can you play it quieter? Good. Now, can you pop the accents?
Oh.
Look. In volume. The whole thing's come up in volume. I think it's fair to say you've been busted. See? I can make it grow. As soon as the tempo comes up and I ask you for you to play the core of it more quietly and then pop the accents, it just goes. See? We can do that. It's not good. Where are you going? That's so relaxed. Really relaxed. Very relaxing stroke, actually. Try it again. In fact, okay, you already did try it. Now I want you to play it at the original tempo. Where are you? Where do you have them?
I played it at 80.
Have it at 80? Keep it at 80. I just want you to play it at the regular tempo instead of doubling it. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon me. So let's check that out. We're going to slow it back down, and I'm asking you to play the core of it, pianissimo or mezzo, and then I want you to play that. There are accents here, right? And that's a typical drummer thing, right? As soon as there's an accent, everything comes up.
I'll do my best.
Okay, so after the throw, it's hanging you up. So turn off your metronome for a sec.
How's the throw hanging me up?
Well, because this is what you're doing. This is kind of how that's a fair question. Because you're coming up. This is what I'm getting from you, and I want. See how relaxed that is? And I can come up. I can come up. And you're in here somewhere.
I'm gonna come up more this time.
You're getting volume. Okay. You remember what this technique is with regards to volume, dynamics. This technique is very specific about how we can add muscular force to get more volume. There are always exceptions, but the basic tenet of this technique is that we get volume based on how high we turn.
That's right.
Okay? And so you're disobeying that tenet. So for you to get volume, see, I can do it that way. I could do it that way, but I'm doing it this way. See, I'm getting volume so I don't have to work hard. That's why it feels like you're doing this, you're doing this, and I'm doing this. Now, what seems more relaxed? You can see the difference. You can hear the difference.
Absolutely.
So what you need to do is first of all, there's more of a feeling of gravity than I think you're experiencing. We are definitely turning our wrists, but we're making a motion first. So we essentially, let me go through it with you again. Okay. See, your throw looked pretty good when it was small, didn't it? And maybe it was, but you don't have a well enough established overview to be able to perform it at another volume. So watch, we're here. We really have to have a floor. That's really important. Darn floor, right? It's always saying, come to me. We must always come back to the floor. It's home for us with this technique. The floor, see, you just bring this up in the way a little bit, and this is home. Try to let everything hang, okay? Nothing tight, just let everything hang. Let it all go. Then you're just going to bring it up, put it in position like this. Let it all go. Elbow should just be hanging. If you were to push your elbow out, I don't want you holding it in. Go ahead and do that again. How come I comes back quicker? There. That was different. You like you threw it out and then you brought it back in. You didn't really throw it out, in other words. You weren't just, like that. Yeah, that's what, isn't that Bruce Becker? This is a ball bearing. In this tech, I consider this a fulcrum. I don't know how many fulcrums there are in the body. I had it memorized at one point. You have a fulcrum here, first knuckle, second knuckle's a fulcrum, third knuckle's a fulcrum, the wrist is a fulcrum, the elbow joint, the anticubical fossa is a fulcrum, the shoulder is a fulcrum. Those are the essential fulcrums we're dealing with. And then, of course, we have the fulcrums that are involved with the leg, the foot, and the toes. Okay, but we're not concerning ourselves with those right now. Okay, so there's this construct. You can feel it. There's a feeling to this, okay? And then we're doing this. We get this kind of thing. Yeah, just copy it. Yeah, just kind of like it comes up in this manner. See it? Come back down. Just feel that again. Come up. That was good. Good. Make sure that the butt end isn't too high. I always feel like, and it could be my angle, but I really want that butt end parallel to the plane. So go ahead and do this. Go ahead and put it down. Put the whole stick down like me. Copy me. See, it wasn't like that. That's flat. See, I was right. I'm pretty sure I was right. Go on and bring it up in that position. The whole thing. There. Stop doing this, thinking that you're parallel. And you go to put it down and the stick goes like that. You're still not. That's parallel. Now you're going to bring that up. You're going to bring the forearm up, aren't you? You're going to bring the forearm up. Isn't that how you get it to come up from there? So put the stick flat on the surface. Go on. Do what I'm doing. Really prove to yourself. There. Now bring this up in this position so that it's parallel. Find it. Find the position of the forearm, right? And the forearm is parallel to the floor. I think this may have been another Martinezism, where I went out and I have them somewhere. I used to tape a level to my forearm. I bought these little green levels, right? You know what a level is. Yeah. And I taped them to my forearm. I think I even played with taping it to my top of my wrist, or to the top of my hand. Okay. So you're not parallel right now, I can tell. Or you could put one on a stick, and if you had, and I did that too, and I take the level, and right now, you know where the bubble would go? Where? Which direction is it? The bubble wouldn't be right in the middle, I'll tell you that. Okay, that's where you want to be. That's where you're going to come back to. And then you're going to get this position. You know, we kind of have a 3-finger grip. You don't need to go clutching. I know you studied at least one, if not more, other techniques that really used the back fingers, and they were trying to strengthen your back fingers. We don't need to strengthen these. Okay. So you're gonna get into this position. Take your 4th and 5th off just for fun. Go on, just no. Stay where you are. Stay with me. Flow with me here. Get your butt end down. You're not parallel. I can tell. Okay. Now take your 4th and 5th off a little. There. See your hand looks a little bigger. That looks more correct. It just relax them. You don't need to be grabbing with them. Okay. We don't have to hold them off. I just don't want you clutching with them. It's a 3-finger grip. Okay, and then you're going to get this position, right? It's going to get to here. Copy me. Just copy me. Fixed point in the universe. Leave the bead down. Go on up. The elbow didn't come out, so you just copy me. You already did it once. Come back down. Find the floor. Really find the floor. 3-finger grip, and just copy me. It does look something like this. Suddenly now a bead of water would roll down the stick, wouldn't it? Go on. You don't need to touch the bead. There, just like that. Nothing, okay? And now you're going to, Marie would say, and now you're going to cock your wrist. Boy, cock your wrist. Okay, let's see. That wasn't right. Once I'm here, just do this. Just do this. What? Let's try it again. First, we're pronating. I think Marie would call this pronating. Come on, let your elbow go. Don't hold it tight. Just leave it alone. It's no big deal. And now what's going to happen is you cock your wrist towards the ceiling, or turn your wrist towards the ceiling. The forearm is going to start its journey downward. So it's going to go like this. There, and finish your stroke. Or like that. Look how high you came up. Do it again. Let your elbow go. No, you gotta get, that's good. Really get your, not bad. Really, just let your arm relax and just get this angle. Your arm will just kind of have to do this. If you really just concentrate on mimicking me, just believe in this. Go on up. You know what it looks like? It looks like this. There. Now cock your wrist, let your forearm travel downward, and complete your stroke. Good. Do it again. Yeah, one nice smooth motion. Do it again. See? Now you're coming up high. Right, and let me add maybe perhaps one more adjustment. You're getting this. And me. It's all one motion, smooth. Watch. It doesn't go here and stop. And you don't have to force down because the arm is already going down for free. Not bad. See, now you're not working real hard. See how nice and easy that is? Isn't it? Look how much easier that is. Now you're moving more. I'll give you that. It's like a lot of motion for one note. But that's how we do this. And it's very relaxing. There. Look how easy that is. Instead of doing this, watch. Now let's go back to your, this is the idea of being open to other techniques, right? Because we often, as students studying this technique, are blind to anything else that might threaten our way of life as, you know, snare drum technicians, right? But it's okay. The other tribe, they're really friendly. They're going to be nice, right? It's okay. So now we're going to go back to the other thing you're doing, which was maybe some technique would do that. They do techniques where they shove the forearm down and they get that kind of thing happening. People play like that. Go and do that again. You did, yeah. Yeah, you're using muscle.
I find more relaxed as I did that.
Well, just stay with me. So just do the small one and get that loud note that you're looking for, but not much. Come on, it was louder. Okay, now do the other stroke. Come up higher and get the same volume, and you don't have to work so hard. There. See? I know. It's like, there. That's all it is. Look how easy that is. The timing of the stroke is much more correct now. And then you can do it small too. That's right. Now we can do it small. And you see, when we do it small, if we move the amount that you were moving to play a really loud note with muscle, with this technique, this is what we would get. We'd get this. This is how loud it would be moving for the amount of motion, or using the amount of motion you incorporated to get a loud note. Because I can. Oh, that's a lot of work. I find myself squeezing, shoving. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play a small. We're going to use the motion you use to play a loud note, and we're going to find out how much volume we'd actually get. Try.
So you want me to go to full height then?
No, I want you to use that timing, but smaller.
Okay.
No. A little different. No. It's hard to read. Fascinating, isn't it? Okay. So now you can't play quiet. You can't really make a quiet throw. Okay. So you really didn't have a very good throw. Ah. Remember, all of the pieces are intact, Joe. Remember. Don't just stay with me now. It'll go much faster if you just stay centered. So we have this I showed you. Then the forearm comes down, and we cock our wrist, and we come back. Now we're going to make that much smaller. We're going to pronate. We're going to cock the wrist. The forearm's going to come down, and we're going to there. I'll make a big one. There, much better. Okay, so okay. All right, so ta-da! See you, Joey. You did great. It was great seeing you today. Okay, let's keep going. But that's really good awareness. All right. So let's see if we can play this stroke. What we're going to do is we're going to play the core of it. The unaccented notes, calling it the core of it. That could be confusing because I'm not talking about marching drums. I'm not talking about core or rudimental drumming, right? So I'm using the word core, maybe in a way that could confuse people. So we're playing the unaccented notes quietly, and then we're raising. See? Try that. Come on. Okay, slow the metronome down to.
I saw you come up to here, like you actually came.
You have the metronome? Getting there. Do you have the metronome on right now?
No, I'll turn it on.
Put it on at 40. 40.
Yeah.
Joe? Put the metronome on at 60. And so what we're going to do is, instead of playing the two 16th notes as 16th notes, we're going to play them as 8th notes. And then the 8th note is going to be a quarter. So it's going to be much slower. No. You lost it. There, you see? Turn the metronome off. Let me gab for just a minute. That's what I was saying. Not only is learning one stroke and how it leads into another stroke, in other words, how one arpeggio turns into another arpeggio. Now we have to just, within the context of one stroke, we have to learn how to fit the pieces together and how one thing leads into another thing. how do these quiet unaccented notes lead into an accent? And as soon as you as soon as you weren't isolating just a downstroke, which you were successful at playing, it went away because what? There were 2 notes before it, and as well in appoggiatura. That shouldn't happen, but it is happening, which is cool. We'll fix it in just a minute. Watch. That's why I had to slow it down. So we're going. See what you're not getting this part. You forgot that. Here's what you were doing, Joe. You're doing this, and then turning really high, thinking I got it. No, it's not that. You lost it. It's this. It's this. Come on, do it with me. Remind yourself now. No, doing it again. Your elbow didn't move at all. You're just doing this. And for fun, do that. I want you to feel that for a minute. Let's not be afraid of doing it wrong or playing it in the way that another technique might. Now, as soon as you lift up from your bicep, it pulls the bead towards you. So make sure you pull the bead towards you. There. So now you've lost your fixed point in the universe. It's gone. And then you're gonna pretend you're doing it right and turn really high. See what it feels like. Yeah, I can't get you not to move your elbow. Joe, come on. Pull the bead towards you. Turn really high. And play. That's playing when you play the stroke. Essentially. What I want, yeah, right. So let's do this now. It takes a minute, doesn't it? I have to be as patient as you. We could just charge ahead. But let's get this. Okay? Let's get this together. So it's now I'm going to have you play an upstroke to the throw that you just worked on. See if you can do that. That's all that's happening. It must be the upstroke that's hanging up because nope. There. It's different, isn't it? There.
How high do you want me to turn up to play the downstroke?
What you did earlier. Just play by feet. Watch. You already just copy me. Murray couldn't stand talking in terms of inches, in terms of height. Thought that was too core or rudimental drumming. He didn't like that. I don't really have a problem with that necessarily, but I just kind of want you to play by feel. I wanted you to mimic me. It's going to go like this, and then you're going to look. I'm up here, aren't I? Let's see. Watch. Yeah, watch. Look how high it goes. Coming up to my black, maybe higher. How are you going to do that? There you go. You don't have to slam on the way down. You have to turn up to your glasses. It'll all collapse on its own. There. Now play an upstroke. Just do that and tap on the way up. Better. Again. Better. Just turn up to the fall. You don't have to think about it down. Your forearm's already down. It's for free. There you go. Now appoggiatura ahead of that, a drag. That's all it is. This is all it is. Joe? Go ahead and play it. You froze for a minute. Go ahead and play an appoggiatura ahead of that. That's all. Don't change a darn thing and you're right. No, you did your old habit. As soon as you add them out, you can't. Which is, I get it. See? Nope. Right hand isn't, right arm. You're not getting this. There. Now turn up to your glasses and let everything collapse. Come on, don't hold it up there. Keep it smooth. There. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Do it again. Collapse that arm at the beginning. And what I'm doing, see, here's what's happening. Now here's what's happening at this point. When you worked on your throw, remember the idea of leaving the bead down as we go up? Well, that's what I want you to do. I'm keeping this simple, and you're adding something else. Now you're going like this. I don't want you to do this. I want you to, it's as if you're so close to the surface, you can't help but make a note. And I want you just to turn from parallel. It's going to feel like, no, your elbow didn't come out. It's going to feel like a normal throw. There, that's all it is. That's what it is. Don't turn the ceiling for your, no. Let's drop it from parallel. Yeah, drop it. Don't turn into the ceiling. Stop. Spend a little more time. Go ahead and make another throw and watch what your bead does on the way up in the right. Go on. No, don't make a note. Just go on up and watch what your bead does. That's what it's going to feel like. It's going to move about a ½ inch to touch as you go up. You don't lift it up first. There. Let your elbow go. Come on, you lost that. Up. There you go. Now turn up to your glasses. There. Do it again. There you go. And add the appoggiatura. That's what it is. Don't forget that. Don't start lifting to the ceiling. No, you're starting to lift to the ceiling. You lost it already. There you go. Tiny little note. Remember I told you have to move to get it started? That's it. Good, 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 good. You got it. Now play the rest of the stroke. Metronome still on? Ra, da, da, nice and slow. Ra, da, da, ra, da. Come on, don't lose your throw. Oh, you're not putting up your glasses. Now the metronome is triggered. Oh, it's back. It's back. Okay, what? I know this is a lot to take in, and you could play it that way. We could play it that way. Or we could be really nerdy about it. Turn, turn, up.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, if that should start as a wrist turn, or if the fact that, so.
Turn, turn, up, forward.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, even when I was practicing it, if that was correct or not.
And that's the sign of a really good student, because instead of asking me, you trusted that the question that didn't get asked would be answered. And that's how you do it.
So in other words, if we played, so just to stay in concert with the other upstrokes that were played, you're not lifting to the ceiling, you're just starting the upstroke an inch feet to about above the plane surface.
Just the throw up, it didn't come out. Your elbow up, see? Are you noticing that? You don't go swing it out. It's like this. Slam, let it collapse. Come back, turn, turn, up. Don't go the elbow out. The timing of it. Watch the timing again. Not bad, not bad. Just I sometimes you throw a little bit of jazz into it, you know. So a little bit of jazz in there. What are you doing? Just to make sure it comes out and it doesn't quite look natural, because it would just do this, like boom. Ra ba 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 up ba see, it's nothing. Kevin, it's nothing. It's nothing. I'm just turning my wrist. big little thing. It's nothing, right? And that's what it feels like. There's very little to feel. Okay, much better. Can you put the metronome up to 80? No. Now put it at 40 and play it as written.
Okay.
See if you can do that. One, oboe, oboe. Not an out thing. It's getting to this position. Just remind yourself. Not that. Just get to this position. Show me what it looks like. There. So you don't have to pump. You don't have to throw your elbow up. Just get to that position. See what? Watch. Traditional work too. Watch. See. Not quite in the right position, but see, it's just this. The same, but in a different position. But what I'm noticing is when you see this, you see the elbow do that. See, that's kind of like a hidden molar. It looks right, doesn't it? Watch. But when I do it, it goes like this. It's like it almost hangs there for a minute. See, it's supported by this. Is, you know, the idea of a puppet on a string? Yeah, here we go with metaphors. Puppet on a string. What does that really mean? Because there's no puppet master. But I do have this feeling. See, this is what it looks like if you lead with your wrist and you don't have the puppet on a string. It looks like this, which is what you sometimes look like, even though it's much better, Joe. But it goes like this. That's doing this. This other approach that I'm showing you is lifting from here. So this doesn't flick out in the same way. It hangs here and then falls. You see? Hangs, falls. It doesn't flick. It hangs and falls. Try it one more time. Just a downstroke. Nope. Come out. Your answer to get your elbow to come out is to flick it out. Come on. Leave it. No. Your wrist is too high relative to your... There. There. Come up a little higher in your wrist. Just a little. Just right. See, there. There. Can you memorize that? Do yourself a favor. Really. Memorize it. Now look. Just keep it there. Keep it there. Now take your other hand. Take your other hand. Keep it there. Stay with me. You need to watch me. And grab. Jack Virga once did this to me. He grabbed me. It hurt a little, but I didn't mind. In the name of art. Grab it. Grab the skin. Don't hurt yourself. But it'll remind you. It's being held up here. See? And the elbows just hanging. It's not flicked out. There. Yeah. See, it's lifted up here. And then you turn and everything falls. Turn up your like that. That's different than what you're doing. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're practicing, okay? Now I want to do one more thing with this stroke, because this stroke is providing all kinds of fodder for development on the snare drum.
On this, Kevin, should I turn to full height and then let the stick come out? Should I play all the accents this way?
Yes. See, that's what we're doing. That's what we've been working. We've been working on helping you play the unaccented notes quietly, and then learning to raise to make a relaxed downstroke with a proper throw. Now, what I wanted to add to it was put the metronome back to 60. Okay. Now we're going to do the same exercise, and what we're going to challenge, and you're playing it as eighth notes and a quarter note. Right? But now I want you to make this motion, but small. If you did like the similar height to when you did this, but it's a bit of a different motion because look, the elbows do the same thing. It's come out a little. It's hanging there, and then I turn, but now not up to my glasses. I haven't come up that high. I'm going to turn and let it collapse. So go ahead and play this, that height turn. Go for it. Not bad. Good, 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 good. Okay, so we're gonna do the unaccented notes with a big throw at 60 to 18 quarters, and then we're turning the metronome down to speed up. It's counterintuitive, but it'll work. We're putting the metronome down to 40, and then you're playing it as written with a big throw. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the metronome settings, and we're going to play the stroke with again quiet unaccented notes, and we're going to make a quiet little motion, not much of an accent, more of almost like a dot, little accent. And we're going to then slow the metronome down, and you're going to do the same thing with a quiet accent at 40, but played as written. Okay, so that's going to be the exercise. That was good. Like, that was really good. Okay, now let's get to stick control. I want to keep moving in stick control. Pardon me. Okay, so I want to get to the other half of this. You've played up to page 513. Yeah. You typically it's 72, of course, and you should write this in your book, just like Richard Wilson marked most of my stick control. Right, you see he's written up above with his quill pen. Okay. I believe Murray has written in pencil 80 to 84. So he thought that the thing could be faster, but I guess Dick didn't agree. And so, okay, so let's put it at 72, okay? Let's just, and we're going to look now at exercise 14. Yeah, go ahead and play that for me.
Play 14.
14.
I'm going too fast, sorry.
Stop your mouth. Okay, that's all it is. You know what relax that is? At this angles, you got this. Look. Okay. Okay. This is always available. I'm not sure what you were doing. Let's take a look at it again. Yeah. That means you might actually have a fulcrum. It might be that you're directing the energy, the turning of the wrist, applying force to the lever arm, directing that to so that the lever arm rocks over the fulcrum. And so you have to direct that energy towards said fulcrum. Which fulcrum is it going to be? Joe? What fulcrum are you using?
Well, it's the middle finger.
Is it? Are you sure? What are your back fingers doing? Can you take them off just for fun?
Not touching at all.
Okay, so is that your only fulcrum?
No, this is serving as a little bit of a fulcrum. That's helping to facilitate this fulcrum for the rebounds. Middle finger fulcrum for the rebounds.
In another place right now. It was a bit of a trick question. But it wasn't. You'll see what I mean. I don't know if you've heard me mention, and I'm trying to remember where I heard it. Either I got it from Carlos at the Baked Potato, or maybe it was at Lava Lee. Trying to remember. Or maybe I read it. I'm just not quite sure. But he talked about that he thought, well, the fulcrum is like in between the first finger and thumb and the middle finger. You didn't even consider that. So you said it's the middle finger. Well, it could be. Or could it be in between? Or could it be the first finger and thumb, the 3-finger grip? Where are you directing the energy? I think they call it moment of force, where the force first contacts the beam, the lever arm. That's moment of force. Where is your moment of force? In other words, where is your fulcrum? Where are you directing? I'm using it in that way. I've got to be careful because I'm not building a bridge, and so I don't have to relate to other architects and use a language that might mean life or death to those traveling across that bridge. Okay, we're going to be okay if it's not quite right for a minute. Although you might not end up getting called back to work with that. That's maybe the worst that could happen. So here I'm directing the force to even playing a single. I'm not taking advantage of said fulcrum, but I'm directing the force to the middle finger. Now I'm going to direct it to the Carlos, somewhere in between. Okay, there it's Carlos. Now I'm going to direct it to the first finger and thumb. I still have a 3-finger grip. I'm directing it to the first finger and thumb. There it is. See, look. Could be. See, you have to decide what fulcrum you're going to use, but you have to maintain a 3-finger grip. Okay? So the question you have to ask yourself, which you weren't asking yourself, and believe me, I get it, what fulcrum am I using? Decide and use it. Remember, we started off this lesson, you said it's a wrist turn, it's a throw, and it's a rebound. And I said, what happened to the fulcrum? You see, this is what I mean. This wasn't first and foremost. It wasn't in your mind at all. It wasn't part of the consideration.
I know, I guess my thoughts never got that far in that particular moment.
It's a good day for you. Go ahead and show me what a wrist turn single at 72, being a half note, as you're playing eighth notes, what that looks like. Just try. Now we're on exercise number 1. Well, we got there through exercise 14. Don't be afraid to turn up. Don't be afraid to turn up. Can you do this? When you watch this back, you'll see we don't look alike.
No.
You're not really turning your wrists. Okay, that's another thing we're working on. which is probably part of what was wrong with your throw, because you didn't turn your wrist. You were doing what? You were doing this. And now when you go to play singles, you're doing this. Maybe it's, and that Dick used to talk about, it's all down with most players. Down, 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 down. Well, what happened to this part of it? What happened to this? See, I've got to turn up. The turn up doesn't mean I have to get all freaky. I mean I have to get all freaky. Come on, turn up. Well, this is would be another cool exercise for you, but will not be diverted from the task at hand. But I'll just comment on what you just did, because you're probably going to be practicing this away from me on your own time, because your clever mind will become intrigued based on what you've learned today, and you'll follow a path. And we all do that, but you're clutching the stick so tight. Yeah, I'm not. Watch. Just watch. Don't play. Look, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. Listen to the sound of the tone of the stick. Don't play. I know you're dying to. This is what I'm doing. You hear the ringing of the stick? And here's what you're doing. Oh my God. You know how different that's going to sound on the drums? And that's why when you listen to Vinny, you can always tell it's Vinny. It has that certain snap, crackle, pop. You can hear the tone of the instrument, the stick. That's not what's happening with you. You're choking it. So we're not going to work on that right now. But that's telling you that when we're down here playing at this volume, you don't have to be as tight. Look, it's a 3-finger grip. Look. I don't have to hold it very tight. I have this really clear 3 fulcrum grip, and I'm directing the energy to one of my fulcrums within the context of this 3-finger grip. Go ahead and do it again. Fun. You saw what I did? I played like this. Now, I remember before I had a real understanding years and years ago, I remember being shown this, and I remember playing a really loud gig and hurting myself because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, so I want you to be careful, but just take your fingers off for a minute. Dick would actually take his fingers off like this when he played crescendo strokes. It's amazing. That stick was ringing and everything was off except what was absolutely necessary. Take your fingers off, just for fun. Come on, take them off. It's tea. We're having afternoon tea.
Yeah,
I miss Red Rose. Canadian Red Rose, isn't it? Or is it British? Big in Canada. There you go. There you go. Yeah, now let's go and play with real, true, honest, unbelievably pure 3-finger grip. And now don't play loud. I want you to play. When you started, you were nice and quiet. I want you to play that. Okay. I want you to play that quietly, just turning your wrist, but I want you to turn higher. If this is really a lot like your throw, where you would play really loud and not be turning high. Now you are unable to turn high and get you're not turning high, you're turning the appropriate height for a particular volume. This is the volume. Watch. Just do this. Take your other fingers off. Take them off. There you go. And just turn your wrist on. Just kind of let it fall. Well, we're only coming up to here. No, not even that high. There you go. There you go. Do it again. That's how loud it should be. But no, too loud. You push down. You have to turn up and let it fall down. Think that way. Don't turn up quite that high. That's how high. Okay, put the metronome down to 60. I want to keep going. We're running out of time. Put the metronome down to 60. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to turn, what is it, 4 inches? Now it's blasphemous and Murray's freaking out, but take your fingers off, let the stick breathe. I'm not playing a rock gig right now. You need to feel this. There you go, that looks better. Now turn up, like I told you, 4 inches or to the top of, it's almost to the top of the bottom of the main circle of your t-shirt. A little less higher, a little less high. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. Not that high, and let's see if you can get the right volume relative to how high you're turning. Go and play singles at 60. Take your fingers off. Prove to me that you're not using them. You might not be, but take them off. Yeah. For now, it's cool. It'd be good for you to learn that. Okay? Now, we don't stop up, though. We don't stop up. You have to bring it up. Good. See, that's the volume I get. It's not very loud, is it? But I'm turning up. Exercise number 14. 14.
Okay.
14. Now, Joe. Okay, now I want you, nice and easy, use more gravity. Okay, it'll help you if you think gravity. Just lifting it up for it to come down. Now, what I want you to just play the doubles part. Let's take a look at your doubles. I want you to take higher. What fulcrum are you using? What fulcrum are you using? Decide. Be observant and decide. When you're on your own time, you can fiddle around, try and get fulcrums. There you go. It looks looser. See, you have to think of that, Joe. Nice and easy. Same height of turn. Go. Joe, you have to have periphery vision, so you're being conducted, right? You have to have one part of your awareness directed towards the conductor. Now you're going to play the exercise, but I'm nice and light. Don't start pounding. Keep your other fingers off. You had the doubles. When I told you to think of what fulcrum you're using, they got nice and bouncy. Good. Now, I just want to make sure we're going to find out because I'm going to give you one more piece of this. I'm just a little worried that I see a bit of pulling. I don't want the double to be because I know you have that push-pull thing.
Yeah.
It's not this. Watch. You let it bounce. You pull. It's not that. It's this. See, I'm not pulling with the middle finger. I'll show you. Which was another one of my bad habits. See, best therapist was the best patient. Okay. So it's not, what did Jack say? Jack says if you really force it down, it forces you, almost forces you to do push-pull. Really pulling. But there are techniques to teach that. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this isn't what I want you to be doing right now. But they're ready to pull for that. They want the second note to be even, and they're going to pull, and they're going to pull, and they're going to pull. And you know, if you know what you're doing, you can play that way. You can use fingers. And now that's not just using fingers. That's really throwing it down hard and then giving it a good pull, often with the back fingers. That's not what we're doing. I'm doing something very different. I'm doing, can you see my middle finger? I'm not going like, watch, I'm not doing this. I'm going. Okay, just don't go pulling for that second note and don't play the first note too loud. Here's what you do. You turn up, rely on a lot of gravity, and think of what fulcrum you're using. That's when it got better. When you watch this back, you'll immediately see that the whole character of your hand, the sound, the way the stick was reacting to the hand and the surface. There, just turn, don't pull, just let it rebound. There. Think of what fulcrum you're using. There. See, it got down without you doing it, without you opening your hand, because I'm not opening my hand, because we were talking about this at the beginning of the lesson. You're physically, you studied different techniques where you actually physically open your hand up. We're not doing it at all. I'm doing nothing. I'm going. The stick will move the finger a little bit, and you see when you watch this there, you'll see when you get to the surface, you'll see this. Go ahead and do this with me. Do this with me. Do this with me. Come on. Yeah. See, isn't that moving your finger? You don't have to open your hand up. It's doing it, isn't it? See if you're just relaxed. Okay. I think that's a good place to stop. I think we've got an awful lot done, but you can see, watch, that really that's all that's happening. Is we're trying to get out of the way of the darn thing, right? Trying to get away from this. That's Sartre, isn't it? Where human beings, Sartre says human beings, when working with inanimate objects, in some ways they become part, the inanimate object becomes part of them, and vice versa. It's almost as though they're instilling something that's animate into something that's seemingly inanimate, right? This thing is alive. It has that quality. I know it's a little bit, it might sound a little bit esoteric, but there's that quality where this thing starts to feel like it's coming alive. See? Look, doesn't that look like the 25th rudiment? See? I can make a big throw, I can make a little throw. Or I can make a big throw. See, because I'm not, see? Because I know what I'm doing. I actually have an honest to goodness throw, an understanding of the throw at different heights, which means different volumes. I have an understanding of a wrist turn at different heights, at different, so therefore different volumes. I have an understanding of the fulcrum, or of the potential placement of the fulcrum. Three-finger grip can only be in so many places, you know, within reason, okay? So that's what's going on. It's coming along, Joe.
Thanks.
So, yeah, you're really welcome. So, as usual, go over this, study this video, take notes with regards to the timestamp, the markers that represent you being successful in accomplishing what it is we were working on, okay? And you'll notice that, yeah, more and more, if you really follow these directives, in other words, if I ask you to actually decide where the fulcrum is, if I ask you to actually turn a certain height and use gravity, if you keep that in your mind, it immediately manifests itself. Okay, it becomes apparent immediately. When you watch back, you'll see it, and that'll help confirm it. That will help reinforce it. All right, man. Cool job.